Hello fans of Marvel Heroes, my name is Wilfred Wong and welcome to my channel where you see guides and videos on this free-to-play game called Marvel Heroes. Now today let's talk about Blade. And Blade is a rather new hero. I've leveled him up after my trip to San Francisco and managed to gear him up, and I feel that because his mechanics are a little bit complex, I'm going to share with you some slides here just to share with you the mechanic of how to play Blade, so that when you see the video later, you can sort of like relate to what I'm doing. Alright, so now Blade has three specializations. The first specialization is more about not managing the second resource, which is called Thirst. So I'm not going to talk about that because I don't find that interesting to play, nor I find the need to be that defensive. So what I'll do is that let's talk about this second specialization called Only When Necessary, and I'll talk about Never Sated later. Alright, so now for those who are new to Blade, Blade is sort of like, he's tainted by vampire blood, so as he deals damage, he develops the kind of thirst. And once his thirst becomes 100 unit, which is secondary resource, he becomes starving. And when he starves, his damage reduces, and he's taking a lot of damage. Well, he's losing health as well as he starves. So the whole gameplay is around this secondary resource called thirst. And also, when thirst happens, you have an option to use serum to eliminate the thirst. Now, depending on the specialization, many things may happen, right? So now, when you are at the Only When Necessary kind of like a specialization, and if there's no bug, because I discovered some bug that affect the whole time to develop to starving. But if there's no bug, it takes around 16 to 20 seconds, depending on whether you are out of combat, to build up the kind of thirst to starving. Now, when you starve, for this specialization, you should actually use a serum, because that would sort of like eliminate the thirst. You will not take any damage, and then after that, any damage from thirst itself, and then after that you can there will be a serum buff for 8 seconds, and after that you build the thirst to starving again and use a serum. That's a kind of a cycle when you play Only When Necessary. And so what's so special about this specialization is that when you use a serum here, you regenerate 45% health, and also for this specialization you restore a little bit more spirit, which is about 30%, and then you reset the cooldown for non-signature cooldown. So you probably have like a couple of cooldowns on your bar, and those are being reset, and you can use it to sort of like some heroes like Mr. Fantastic or Star-Lord having the kind of like gameplay. You can do the same thing to a Punisher to reset the cooldown, and then after that sort of like you can have a back-to-back kind of big damage to the enemy. And serum itself has a 12-second cooldown, so the whole thing then go into a cycle. So once you have the 8-second buff, and after that you build the thirst again to the next serum. Alright, and it's never an issue when it comes to serum, because serum is 12 seconds, and then it takes much longer than 12 seconds in order to reach the next starving for this Only When Necessary specialization. And and once you use the serum, the buff you will have a buff of 10% increase on your damage, addition to whatever you have. And I work out the mathematics, keen to share with you later. It is about 6% buff to your damage output for the 8 seconds window. Alright, so and after that you have attack speed and so on. But that is about it for Only When Necessary. That is a very simple cycle, managing thirst. Whenever the thirst comes in, you eliminate it, and again the buff. Alright, now the Never Sated is a little bit more different. I'm not going to go through the leading to it because they're a little bit complex. But just imagine after you use a serum, there are a couple of things that happen. First of all, you get a serum buff of 8 seconds as per the Only When Necessary, same as the one before. And then after that, you build the thirst to starving. But once you reach the starving stage, you do not use a serum immediately. You wait for 10 seconds. That 10 seconds, provided that you continuously hit some target, that 10 seconds will help you build 10 stacks of Bloodlust during the starving stage to further buff your serum. Just all in all, what's going to happen is this, right? When you use the serum, you regenerate 45% health, just like Only When Necessary. You restore spirit, but not as much. And then after that, you then in the serum, you gain a damage component to it. You gain a attack speed component, just like Only When Necessary. But in addition, if you have 10 stacks of Bloodlust, you actually gain 50% damage and 100% crit brutal damage. So I went through a number. it is equivalent to about 46%, pretty substantial, for that kind of like damage output. And you could time it with your ultimate, you can time it with your signature if you so wish. So that 8 second become really awesome, and after that you kind of like build Thirst to Starving, and then for the 10 second while you're building Bloodlust, what you do is that you actually have increased health regen while losing health as well. You have a Spirit on hit. You have also no damage penalty because for only when necessary, when you're starving, you take a 10% damage reduction, damage output. All right. So and then also for your slot 2, you may have a 5.5% damage against boss. So all in all, this is the kind of like gameplay for the 2 specialization. Now, enough talking, I'm going to a game and show you how it works. Alright, this is played on the range build, and I'm using only when necessary. So if you recall, only when necessary is when the staff comes in, you would use your serum to take down all the, to remove the thirst. Alright, so this is a madness event, so it is seems to be a lot of people playing this game right now. And yeah, I mean, you have to get used to the fact that whenever serum is up, then you have to do it to remove the thirst. But it does take a while to sort of like get used to the kind of rhythm, especially if you play multiple specialization. Now, for those who are familiar with Punisher or have seen my video on Punisher, you probably recall that I really like Punisher because I think it is really a masterpiece when it comes to the design of the hero. Now, Blade is probably for those who, for range Blade, but especially, it's probably for those who did not enjoy the very overwhelming management of Punisher reload kind of like mechanic, and Blade cycle is a lot longer when it comes to, because to me serum is like a reload if you play play the Punisher mechanic, because Punisher I think every 8 or 10 seconds you have to kind of hit the reload button, and a lot of people didn't enjoy it, and I think for those who did not enjoy it, Blade would be a very good option when it comes to that kind of thing. But I mean, right now I can share with you that Blade is kind of okay. So I need to see which are the people actually doing the Black Cat, or okay, so someone is doing Black Cat. Let's just follow suit. All right. Okay, so thirds have to remove it. That was a signature, by the way. So I think in a way, right now it's still some bug to the whole, because Blade is still very buggy. I find a lot of bugs, like when I use the serum, it doesn't really do anything, although I'm still in starving mode. And and also when I switch specialization, if I don't lock off, I actually have the, okay, I shouldn't tell you the steps in terms of replicating replicating the things here. So I mean, if you look at the third generation now is very high, if you notice, because I've done some, it's not my intention to do this, it's just how the bug is going, because I've been switching specialization right now. The third generation is very high for range build, and I'm going to lock in and lock out again, and you probably see that it is not going to be the case, that it's going to take a lot longer when this happens. So I'm actually like every 8 seconds I'm in thirds right now. So I tell you what, let me just after I take down Mane, I'm going to re-lock in again and show you the true pace of the without this bug, true pace of the thirst regen. All right, so just bear with me, and I'm going to just take down Mane. But I mean, I hope I show you some kind of like, if you are playing, if you have played something like Punisher, you probably agree with me that this is very easy to play, and I can't even hit the serum when I'm using only when necessary. Now let me show you. I'm actually only when necessary. So this is crazy. All right, so I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to relock and show you the true, without a bug, what is in this, intended, the pace of the third generation. Alright, welcome back. So I'm hoping to sort of show you the true pace of third generation. Third generation is actually quite slow when it's using only when necessary. Just now what you saw was just a bug that it happens to be very fast, but I level with the kind of bug. So I was thinking, whoa, range Blade was awesome. It reminded me of the almighty Punisher, but unfortunately, it's not the case. So it does take a while to build up. As you can see, my serum is hitting the cooldown soon, but I'm still not really right. So I can't use my serum right now because it's not thirst. Thirst hasn't hit 100% right now. So I mean, it is a live demonstration of a bug that made me very happy when I was playing the Punisher while leveling. All right. So yeah, but in a way, if you choose this specialization, you probably be like me. A lot of time you just mashing the cooldown. You don't really got to interact with the serum a lot, unlike the other build. Well, the other build also doesn't really have a lot of interaction. So I don't know, as someone who really enjoy Punisher, the kind of fast-paced reload, this is not something that it definitely not quite the same. But you can see that the survivability is really good for range blade. It's actually quite visually pleasing as well. You can see a lot of things that happens, unlike the melee version. All right, so I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to sort of like a toggle to a melee build and let you see how it really plays like if you play a melee blade. All right. So this is Blade in the melee build, and you probably wouldn't be able to see many things action here, but pay attention to the buff window in just a bit. Now I'm now in Starving, and I'm losing health as well, but I'm actually having quite a good health regen when it comes to gearing Blade. And I'm going to hold it for 10 stats right now, and after that I have already taken the serum. And I'm building the next cycle, which is towards the next Starving. And you can notice that you forget about the bug earlier on, it's actually fast to get to the next Starving. So right now I'm Starving, and I'm waiting to see the 10 seconds to get my 8, 9, 10, and use a serum here right now to give me a buff to do more damage. So I can sort of like, I have to pay attention to the buff screen, I have to pay attention to all the cooldown and so on. It's actually rather exciting, I would say. And then basically just mashing. Now I'm Starving again, I have to wait until 10 seconds. And 7, 8, 9, 10, then use a serum here right now, and then I can do my damage. Now, but then as you see that, sometimes you do have some leftover, and when you use the serum, actually it's really it's a bit dynamic. So sometimes you don't really wait until 10 stacks, because if the boss is dying anyway, may as well use a serum and use whatever buff that you have to sort of get a job done. So I'm going to get to the next stage. I'm now losing health. So this is the part whereby I'm not accumulating stacks while I'm actually losing health. So 5 stat and the still going on. All right. So 9 stacks, and after that 10 stat serum. And I can use a signature here because that will become very awesome. It's buffed by 46%, like I mentioned to you, at least for my gear, for my build. And after that, I continue getting the mana down. And I'll talk about the get out, get hit by him. And okay, get out again, and sort of like 4 stacks. And it's really exciting when it comes to the melee build. Definitely, it's a lot more exciting to talk about. And 10 stack, go serum, and after that go back in, be awesome again, get out and get back in again, get the bleed, and get the stick through the heart. And that's it, end of story. Now I'm getting my thirst again, and I have to use it right now because there's no point losing health while looting, right? So the usage of the serum is very much situational, which is great. All right, so that is very much like I want to share with you how the melee build is like now. I really wanted to do something like a hybrid melee and range, because that would be really awesome. It's like playing Moon Knight. For those who know, Moon Knight is actually quite a lot of range mixed with the melee, and and Blade has a lot of potential to do that, but it just doesn't pay off to sort of mix that mechanic in, which is a kind of pity, because I would actually do something. I would design the game such a way that it rewards you to pick something that mix the range and melee, just to have something different. 10 stat and eat the serum, and after that be awesome right now. Yeah. But it's just the way that I think Blade still need a lot of work to make him really fun to play. I think the whole thirst also, unlike Punisher, whereby you could gear towards a faster reload and so on through the power duration. There's nothing like that for Blade. The whole thirst is kind of a mystery to me. Even mathematically, it's very hard to to sort of like gauge how fast the thirst is going to go. Set aside gearing for it. So I'm going in with the moment. Yeah, another thing is that a lot of people actually go out of order here. They don't really have the same kind of like way to to tackle the boss. So now I may also take the serum because Moman is dying anyway, so there's no point in having a full serum, full 10 step for nothing to hit. And so that is the thing I'm talking about. Sometimes it's just a lot of wasted opportunity when it comes to the whole gameplay, when it comes to play. But I mean, you know, like I said, it's just a different hero, different gameplay. So my job here is not to criticize a hero, but bring the best out of the hero. You know, I'm sure whatever hero we have, there are fans out there. All right, so I'm going to just head at the training room, talk about the build and the gear and so on. All right. Now that you've seen how the tool specialization work, let's get into you know, the build, which I think most of you are, you know, here for. Now, when it comes to the build, I must confess that nowadays when you have specialization, you don't really have a lot of like a build variety. So you know, your build is most likely same as what I have here. But what I would like to at least share with you some insights on the, you know, how those numbers and so on and so forth comes in the picture when you pick a build like this compared to other build that you have may have you know, used for Blade. All right, so that is what I like to at least help you out here. Now let's talk about Daywalker first, because it's common for both the melee and the ranged one. The Daywalker, the serum is, you probably have to max it because it gives you a whole bunch of like nice defense and dodge rating to it. And you know, you've watched my video on the defense guide, and you probably know that with the revamp, all these stats become very relevant to the hero. So you have to stack on the defense, and Blade being a defense hero is already a big bonus, because I personally would prefer a defense hero, defense dodge or defense deflect rather than, you know, deflect dodge, because you don't have to deal with the cast spike that much. And for Blade, because of the whole you know, losing health kind of mechanic, I think it works really well for him as a defense hero. All right, so in terms of specialization, you know, you could pick you could put either only when necessary if you don't want to manage too much on this like health regen, or you can pick something called Never Sated. I talked about it early on. I'm not going to repeat what I've said in the earlier part of the video, but in order to really make Never Sated work, you have to make sure you gear for it as well. Make sure your health regen is up to a certain level whereby you're comfortable in losing health while getting the 10 stacks of Bloodlust. All right, so now why do I put 3 points here, or you know, with the 3 limbo point I'll get 6 points here. I really have nowhere else to put for Blade. I run out of like things that I could invest on. So I think, you know, he does dash a bit here and there, just get a little bit of buff, you know, on the dodge, why not? Then the ride is actually quite nice. I don't really use it that often because the bite is a little bit slow, but for those who like to see Blade on Blood, I think it's 1 point, why not? He has so many points to play around with. And then after that, Long Live is a bunch of damage, rating, crit rating, and so on. So that is great stuff. More importantly, it's about the health when you hit with the power. So you know, that is also very useful. For melee, you probably would use a Party Crasher instead of the UV Granite, and the and it works quite the same because it's Terrify instead of like Stun. Its DPS is not that high, but it's actually not that low as well for vulnerability power with the Terrify function. I don't know, man. This nowadays the tuning is a little bit different. When I look through the numbers, I saw like, you know, wait a minute, there are some other heroes that does the same kind of like vulnerability, may have a stun. How come this one has so much higher damage? I don't know, power creep, not, I don't know. Then for melee, you probably don't look in the tools of the trade, but you look at something called Vampire Hunter. Now, okay, for Vampire Hunter, you could either, for main spender, you know, you use any means necessary. It does there's a slight buff, you know, 6% equivalent when you actually get into the serum stage. You know, I've gone to a number. Whiplash actually come up higher as a single target, believe it or not, compared to any means necessary. I have no idea why it is so. It has an area tag to it some more. I don't know, man. It's just yeah. So I went to a number. It's quite interesting, but the only setback is that for Whiplash, the hero move as you use Whiplash. I can't even hold the shift key to sort of like stop Blade from moving and use this as my single spender. I can't, and they keep moving. It should have a movement tag to it because it just keep moving. I can't stop it, so I can't use it. Maybe you guys can make it work. I don't know, but it does have a really high damage for Whiplash versus the any means necessary. But when the serum is active, of course, this one get pumped up. And then after that, the stick through a heart as well, that has an execute function to it, which is great, so use it as a melee attack. And the signature has 3 stages to it: first blade, second blade, and third blade. I actually prefer this one compared to the Tools of the Trade signature because this one has like a nice kind of like an area damage, and it has a higher damage as well compared to the my namesake, which is the Tools of the Trade signature. And then after that, Toxin Loaded Gauntlet, which is another one that sort of like give you the irresistible kind of immobilization. I think it kind of like why this is important. Let me share with you. Right. So when it comes to the sequence of event, again, you know, when the game is so tightly designed, there's zero creativity as in like which power shall you use first. There's none. All right. So the first thing, apply vulnerability, Party Crasher, right? Because that's exactly the first thing you'd like to do. Add another 10% to whatever you're doing. Then after that, you use a Toxin Loaded Gauntlet because it applies the extra vulnerability to the Grievous Wounds. Now, what are the Grievous Wounds? There's only one. Well, at least there's only one that I picked. It's the Glyph, Orbit. All right. So this one buff the Glyph Orbit, and after that, you could use your Stick Through the Heart, so you wish to sort of like hit it. So now, just a word of caution is that make sure that these are quite short range. Like if you look at the range here, it's very short. All right, so these are very short range. So make sure you are within the range of the enemy. Otherwise, you're hitting air, and we never like hitting air. So before you do this, observe the distance to the mob, and then you make sure you hit it. So, but then this one has an immobilized kind of like duration to it. So provided that this one hits, most likely this one hit as well. That's why the immobilized comes in the picture, I think. So that is very much the melee build. All right. Now, onto the range build, I'm not going to repeat what I've said on the melee build, so this part is very much self-explanatory. And I picked the only when necessary rather than never sated because, first of all, I would like to play my blade in kind of like different kind of like a game style, right? Because if I pick never sated, it's exactly the same as like what I'll do in with the melee blade, and it's exactly the same power as well. I mean, well, it's a mirror image of each power, but it's exactly the same rotation. So what is it for, right? Why I'm playing that? So and also as a range, I would prefer more like a relaxed approach. I would like to stay back, no need to manage too much of health and so on. So the only when necessary is great. It resets some power, so it's something for me to think about. So within that build up to the thirst, then I could do a back-to-back kind of power, kind of like damage output. So that is quite fun in that sense. So I play blade in kind of two very different hero. But if you stick with sated, never sated, so I would say the two is going to be very similar. It's just pick a mirror image of each power. All right, so your choice. All right, so but if you want to stick with range, like if you tell me that you do not enjoy melee, because some people don't like melee hero, want to have ranged, you can. Then my advice to you is to use the never sated because that will probably give you more power. Right now it's very hard for me to test because of the bug going on. You see that the thirst is going haywire. I mean, I could be benefiting from, I can get the best of both worlds, never sated and only when necessary. But after I reload and log back in again, I'm going back to the original game design. So it's very buggy right now for play. So I can't really tell you which specialization is better. But if I look at the design point of view, because risks always have to be rewarded. And you definitely take more risk and more effort in playing the never sated. So I would think that would be your goal, to use never sated. So if you want to stick with range, go never sated. And also another information to share is that for range build, you probably have like a lesser damage output compared to a melee build, probably about 8% in terms of the power, kind of like an assignment at rank 20, no gear and so on. It is just how this game is designed. Now, I may not fully agree with it, and it is totally another topic why melee has to be higher power, when melee nowadays is survived pretty well with the new damage, new defense system. They got another 8%. You don't really need to run around that much anyway. So, but that is discussion for another day. For range builds, pick the UV Gungnai. I really enjoy it. It kind of like go there and do a stun. Yeah, so instead of Terrify, it's stun. Right, so same thing. And you probably wouldn't invest your time into Vampire Hunter, but you look into Tools of the Trade. Tools of the Trade. one thing I'd like to share with you here though, for leveling, use a range build, is a blast. There's something called the Unleashed Glaive. Glaive. It's very much like the, let me just share with you. So it's something like this. Let me just like, so it's like you know, if you play Cyclops, sorry, and if you play things like Squirrel Girl, basic range power, you probably can relate this kind of really fun kind of you know, ricochet kind of power. Now, I do not understand why, but like the Whip Unleash Whip or whatnot, that from the Whiplash, sorry, from the melee build, this one actually does quite a lot of power. The Unleashed Glaive actually does really decent DPS, actually higher than the main spender for the pump action, provided that there's no serum active. For leveling, I actually use this as my main spender. Well, you know, because the mob just die when I throw a glaive to it, and just sort of like, you know, just all that, and it ricochets. So it's really fun. It's like leveling Cyclops in some sense. It's a Cyclops married with the merge with the Punisher kind of gameplay. So I really enjoy my leveling experience, but that's irrelevant here. For end game, I would propose something that pump action is probably the right thing to do. Again, no. Blade is something, the tuning is a bit strange, because how can this one be, yeah, anyway. So I think in future they will probably make this as a main spender, really main spender. So, you know, this is something that you should pay attention to as a pump action. Use this as the damage over time kind of like, you know, bleed kind of mechanic to the mobs. All right, and then after that, stick thrower instead of like, you know, stick through the heart, and stick thrower, and my namesake is very much like I think a Gambit kind of signature, but it's a lot faster. And last but not least, the Hypertoxin Grenade. So as for the melee, I mean, you know, there are many creativity when it comes to which power should you use first. It's very much like, you know, you start with the UV Grenade, and after that, this gives you the vulnerability debuff against the mob that you are targeting. Then after that, use a Hypertoxin Grenade that gives you the buff to your bleed. Then after that, you go for a bleed. After that, you go for the, you know, cooldown, the last thing you do. Or and after that, you can, you know, use a signature and so on. So that's all I like to talk about when it comes to the build itself. Let's talk about the gear and the rotation. So when it comes to the gear, gear-wise, there are quite a lot of very good artifacts this day for you to make Blade more awesome than mine. So if you have watched my best artifact guide, you probably know what the list is going to be. So for Blade, it's going to be like the Gorilla Necklace is something that you probably would like to get hands on, and like even the Magneto artifact, the Taskmaster artifact, those are very relevant, especially if you want to play both the range and melee build. Hand of Doom is nice, then Omega Drive, and, you know, maybe Jump the Curse in that order. So it's something that you like to look into, but for poor man kind of like a scenario. By the way, thanks for your donation. Some of this like you know, donation comes in after I've already geared up the blade, so probably that will benefit the next hero that I have. Magic. All right. Yeah, I'm so excited about the next one. I hope it's not as buggy as Blade though. Anyway, so Blessing is going to be Hela for the Brutal. So if you don't really have a lot of very top-notch artifact or so on, so just do something like, you know, Metasensory and the Secret of you know, Cargo, which more of like crit damage. And then, you know, this one is very nice, generic. You have some health, some damage rating to it. You know, those are pretty decent stuff. And I happen to have a high formula somewhere, donation in the past. So I think, yeah, why not use it? Because it has some health regen kind of like a mechanic to it. So I said, yeah, I mean, I think my blade needs some health regen and extra health. So but like I said, I mean, there are many other options that can do much better than me. All right. So when it comes to the artifact, medallion wise, if you are very fixated on the melee, use Curse one. I think it's the best. If you are sort of like if you're on the fence, like, you know, not quite sure what to do, then, you know, maybe things like Shocker is nice as well. There are some ranged medallion that could be useful. Now I've got some Sabertooth flying around. You know, this role is so not really that great in the health part of it, but I mean, you know, it has damage rating versus with the bleed status, so I hope, you know, somehow it works. I'm really hoping that somehow it works. And after that, yeah, I mean, you know, have some extra health regen. So my blade is gearing for health regen. I ain't kidding when I said my blade is geared for health regen. And after that, you know, I've got a lot of like Lumeria lying around. Nowadays, you don't really need Lumeria, I think. You know, for many heroes, it's pretty fine. I don't know about Danger Room though. You may need to sort of like you know, rearrange our gearing strategy. But as of now, so it kind of complement really well on the gameplay, never sated gameplay, when you need to sort of like during the starving stage, especially starving stage, you need to have the health regen plus all this like life on hit to compensate for the health loss that you have. All right, so that is one. And the this is a poor man's solution, Lady of the Sword, but check out the other guide on the best rune word. There's a whole list of other things that you could do for Blade. I think if you can roll a dupe, power dupe, it's supposed to be for hybrid. I don't know why they. Yeah. Anyway, that's probably one of the best if you get a high roll for the for physical hero. For the legendary, you know, grade 70 is always a good near for non-summoner, non-hybrid. I got a lot of questions. They said, wow, you know, really? Everything is just good near for grade 70? I said, non-summoner, that's Trident, non-hybrid, that's Power Cosmic. All right, so, but the rest of it, good news is sufficient. I went through a number enough to say, okay, fine, I don't need to do it for everyone because it's basically telling the same story across everything. For grade 70, it's very close. Either way, either one you pick, it doesn't really matter. For grade 80, it's going to be certainly the Axe, right? Grade 80, there's I don't think there's any other options. You may want to go for a shield because you want your blade to be more tanky, but I really don't think you should just go for a DPS, right? It's always a balance in life. Ring wise, get the industrial ring, get get some nice mayhem ring or whatnot. You can do much better than me. When it comes to the unique wise for melee, you use the Toxin Gauntlet for the slot 1, but you could use the so-called the pistol for slot 1 if you do a ranged. The enchantment, you know, I always enchant for physical only when I can't, figure out whether it's range or melee. Like for instance, last slot 5, the roll is terrible. I can't really get a nice decent gear for this one. I don't know why I've been playing so long. Anyway, so this one is going to be an enchant on the physical. Then the other one is enchant on the melee and the range accordingly, right? Depending on, you know, because I think the runes are easier. Well, I think all 3 runes are easy, but at least you can use all the 3 runes. All right. So then after that, for the slot 2, 3, 4 is going to be just using his unit is fine, and I need more credit. I don't know why I need more credit. I've actually have quite a lot of millions in my bank in this game. Right. But you know, if you like to roll health to it, go for it. All right. So in terms of costume, again, I mean, you know, when I roll costume at level 1, I don't really know what the hero is going to be weak on and whatnot. But I think, you know, sometimes when I get such a high roll on the grade 4, I don't want to change. And I've gone through a mathematics for some other heroes. The difference between crit and crit damage rating is not going to be substantial. You don't need to be fixated to be on one gearing. So what it really means is that you are strong in the costume, then for your artifact choices, you can go easy on the crit and then go for something else, right? So that is probably what I can offer to you. But if you get a very nice, like especially those extensive ranks like grade 4, grade 3, then yeah, keep it if it's really good, right? So but you know, if you really want to get a most out from it, I think crit damage rating is also good. Crit hit is equally good. That's fine, either one of them. And I've got another costume as well for health, but I never get to use it. So I think moving forward, I will probably I actually got a costume on health and the deflect because he's missing on deflect, right? But I never really get to use it. The game somehow, the tuning of this game is a little bit odd right now. It's in a very strange stage whereby they lower the mob damage output, making sure all heroes can survive. But looking at the defense model, some heroes are better than others. Spider-Man. So that is one. And after that, insignia wise, just get something that is like a crit damage rating, brutal rating. Those sort of things will be good for your blade. All right. And pet wise, it's going to be this one. All right. So the only gear that you need to switch is the slot 1 between the two of them. So now just a quick video on the rotation. So first rotation, let's talk about the melee side of it. And many people ask me what team up to use and so on. So for full passive, I prefer the Spider-Woman because of the the buff here, the +1 strength and damage rating is pretty decent. When it comes to playing blade, like I mentioned to you, the first one to do is Party Crasher. That will give you a vulnerability debuff, and after that use the toxin loaded grenade. Just watch what he did just now, so you have to be pretty close, otherwise you hit air. Then after that you do like orbit to give you the bleed as well as the damage over time, and then after that you can use the the stick through a heart, and observe your calf, like the thing that go up, the blood stat, the stat that go up. So if you see I'm losing health, but I can still sustain. So I'm going to do a fast forward, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 stat. I'm going to use serum. Use serum right now. Then you can do a signature if you want. Then 1, 2, 3. Then after that you can do the stick through a heart again. Then after that it's again 1, 2. You actually don't need to use the glaive, the glaive too fast, because you actually time it together with the stick through a heart. Then you observe 10 of those like stat right now. Serum, use serum, and that's it. And then use the orbit and stick through a heart, and after that Party Crasher and the toxin loaded wallet. So it's very simple, right? I mean, then after that you observe, make sure it's the 10 stacks, then you use the serum. Don't use it too early. I can time it together with my signature right now. Oh, I missed out one of them. I can time it with my signature right now, because a 10 stack, then I can do a signature, right? So that gives me quite a nice like a buff to it. All right, so that is the rotation for the melee hero. So when it comes to the range, the rotation, make sure 2 things. First of all is you swap back your slot 1, so that it does buff your range as well. And second thing, remember to re-lock in. Just now I forgot, because you will see your thirst will go up really fast, and which is sort of like it's a bug. So yeah, and so provided that you've done the right thing, and I'm using only when necessary. But if you are really care about the DPS for the for range build, the right thing to do, of course, is never sated, provided that you can manage the kind of health, losing health kind of thing. So now, same as the melee kind of thing, you start with the UV Gunai, which is give you the vulnerability buff. Then you start with the toxin loaded hyper toxin Gunai to give you the buff to your power, your bleed power. This bleeds up, but remember you have to hit it you have to sort of like hit it at the right center. Otherwise, if you hit it somewhere like this, you may miss it, right? So you have to be very, very careful when you come to target. I mean, this game is so hard to target. It's so unforgiving. Like sometimes if you you have to sort of like get the right thing. After that, you can get your stick thrower as well. All right, so. Whenever thirst comes, then you sort of reset it using a serum. So I'm going to fast forward the whole thing. So you're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, and signature. Then just go up. All right, just wait. So as you see, I mean, it's actually slower than the never say that in a sense. So you may need to use the 1, 2, 3. Serum soon. Then once you serum soon, then you can actually reset the power, right? So all power has been reset. That's about it. But it doesn't reset the signature, of course. And the cycle just repeat itself. All right, 1, 2. Then the orb, the glaive, you time it with the stick thrower, because that is an 8-second kind of cooldown, right? And then it's going to hit that soon, and that's it. Then everything come to cooldown. I mean, the cooldown all getting sorted. So it's a bit of like cooldown reset kind of gameplay. All right. Okay, you've reached the end of the guide, and this part is more of a bonus part for those who like to just take a look at how Blade plays like in a solo environment. Now, I recorded a video just now, and the headband actually dropped. I was so happy, but unfortunately I forgot to lock in and lock out, so that my range build was a lot more fantastic than the normal. So I thought I had to redo this one to give you a more accurate picture of the range build. I don't want to oversell, right? So now this is the Unleashed Glaive I talk about. I mean, it can actually kill the white mob quite easily, right? So imagine if you're leveling. I mean, this is a cosmic patrol, but imagine you're leveling. You can actually use it as a main spender, pretty alright. I mean, you don't need to use the other one, which hit really slow, right? So I'm just using 1 power right now, if you see it, and that's why I say it's really fun. It is like the problem with the Cyclops is that for Cyclops, his main spender, well, you can't really use Ricochet as a main spender because of the it's a basic, right? But imagine for Blade, actually you could potentially do that. I don't know what happened, but now I'm using a signature right now, and you can actually, yeah, that's it. End of story. I'm just enjoying myself with the whole range build a lot, very fun when it comes to range build. Although it may not be as fantastic as the melee build, but you know, it has its purpose. You don't need to run around that much. And also observe the health of Blake. He's having about 30,000 health without any health gear. But I don't really roll like costume affixes on health on him. At least not one that I'm using right now. So, but make sure you aim it correctly, because sometimes you just keep missing right now for the Unleashed Glaive. But I mean, okay, enough playing around. So I'm going to sort of like just do the real thing here, just like play the game as a Blake. It's very, very fun. But I can't. Okay, I keep missing. It's kind of targeting in this game is kind of a hit or miss. I require a lot of patience when you play this game. But I mean, that's it, right? I mean, it cleared a whole thing. So Blade is actually pretty strong right now, say even the range build. And range build is more fantastic when it comes to the area, I think, compared to melee build. So for a situation like this, yeah, I mean, it's great. For raid though, I mean, raid is a different thing. So raid, when it comes to raid, especially harder raid, maybe the DPS matter, right? So you can't really afford playing around that much with the stuff like this. Alright, so that is a vulnerability buff and the signature. Alright, the signature, my namesake, and that's about it. Open this guy. So what I'm going to do is I'm switching to the melee build. I can't switch from melee to range, but I can switch from range to melee without re-login. Otherwise, I'm selling you a wrong picture here. Alright. So I'm going to just carry up these things, and I'm going to just make sure you remember to equip your slot 1 to melee to make it more awesome. So I'm switching to melee build. I hope the buff doesn't affect in that order, and my heroes still have the kind of like so-called the thirst regen. Alright, so okay, make sure you get 10 seconds of buff, and you have to pray that you are hitting something and not something that's killing you. But if something that's killing you, then make sure you erase it off. Now there's a bug right now. Sometimes you can clear the thirst, sometimes you can't, so it depends on your luck. And make sure you don't hit air like I just now. Alright, 10 seconds. Alright, sometimes you have to use a serum, because I mean, if there's no mob around, there's really no point in risking yourself in losing health for the bloodlust stack. So in a way, I mean, the reason why I like the Punisher kind of shorter cycle is that on this kind of encounter whereby it's very fast paced, you can't really afford to have that 20 seconds to 10 seconds just to get the 10 buff. Because you don't have the luxury. I mean, now at 10 buff, then I go in, right? Because then after that, mobs are mostly dead. So what do? Right? So I don't know. I mean, visually, I think the range is more relaxing. It seems very effective. Articulate what you want. Now I'm bloodlust again, 10 seconds. So what I'm doing, trying to get 10 stacks, right? So yeah, I mean, that's the thing that I'm trying to do, 7 stacks. Then after I do 10 stacks, what's going to happen, right? I mean, nothing. I just walk. So again, it's a wasted opportunity. I feel like a lot of wasted opportunity here when it comes to play. But that's fine. I mean, he does have his own utility somewhere, right? And this is signature, right? That's it. Done. Any headband this time? Probably not. So I take a serum right now. All right. There's a box here. Wish me luck. No. Yeah, but I'm not complaining. I have my. I mean, it's so hard to get loot in this game. At least for me, I don't really play that much. A lot of time. If you added me as a friend, a lot of time I spend on the the training room, and people be wondering what I'm doing. I'm just copying some number, running scenario, playing with dummy, and playing with dummy never really pay off. But it's good. A lot of you help out. Thank you very much. So let's see whether I have something good for you to show on the screen or not. Nothing here. And well, just another usual day. So I hope you have enjoyed watching this video on Blade. I think in closing, he has a potential. I mean, Blade has a potential to be a very interesting hero. I think Gazillion need to relook into how the secondary resource make it even more fun. The cycle I think it's a little bit too long, especially for this kind of environment. You can't really do a lot of like thing around it. And Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, what do you think about Blade? I haven't seen Blade so far. Do you like what you're seeing? Do you think that he's your cup of tea? Let me know. Let me know in the comment below. I'm very keen to hear about what you like about Blade or what you don't like about Blade. All right. So till the next time we see each other. Goodbye. Have fun. Then right now, I think there's an event going on, a Midtown Madness event. I think I have fallen asleep last night trying to do Midnight Madness with my friend, by the way, grew up with me, very kind of him to play with me. All right, so see you next time. Bye.